Listen carefully because what I'm about to share is something almost no one is talking about, yet it has the power to reshape everything you thought you knew about PI network. For months, people have been losing hope, drifting away, waiting for something real. And while everyone was busy arguing on social media, something enormous happened behind closed doors, something that didn't just shake the crypto world. It forced global powers to rethink their financial strategy. In March 2025, a confidential document leaked from the Bank of Russia. Not rumors, not speculation, not some fan theory. A real document from one of the strongest nations on Earth. And in that document, Russia openly described using PI network in the same breath as Bitcoin and Ethereum to bypass international restrictions. The same PI that critics mocked as worthless. The same PI people said would never amount to anything. Yet there it was, sitting beside the world's most powerful digital currencies, listed as part of a strategy to move money when the entire Western banking system tries to lock you out. While many pioneers sat at home watching views decline and waiting for a miracle, the biggest proof of PI's real-world power quietly appeared in a place no one expected. And once you hear the full story, you'll understand why the next few months could be the most critical phase in PI's entire history. Before we dive deep into this breakthrough, make sure you check my Telegram and Facebook pages linked in the description. I'm dropping daily updates, breaking down the biggest developments long before the rest of the world hears about them. Now, here's the part that stunned everyone who saw that leaked document. Its title was Framework for Alternative Settlement Mechanisms. It wasn't a simple memo. It was a survival blueprint, a guide for moving money in a world where the traditional financial system tries to crush you. And Russia wasn't randomly picking coins. They didn't choose PI because it was trendy. They didn't choose it because of hype. They chose it because it had a purpose. They laid out a three-part plan. Bitcoin for giant oil deals, Ethereum for contract-based transactions, and PI for something no one expected. PI was meant for small, cross-border payments, moving rubles into local currencies through PI's massive community of ordinary people. Russia saw something far too many ignored. PI's true power is not trying to compete with Bitcoin as digital gold. It's acting as digital cash for everyday people, able to move from one pocket to another across borders without banks monitoring every step. It's the one place where millions of users worldwide can quietly support a financial ecosystem without needing permission from banks or governments. And then came the twist that changed everything. After the leaks spread across the internet, Russia didn't deny it. They didn't call it fake. They didn't distance themselves. They doubled down. They officially allowed select investors to buy and sell PI, making it a state-approved financial asset. That's something money cannot buy. Overnight, people who once laughed at PI were suddenly forced to take it seriously. The leak proved something powerful. PI's concept works in the real world. It's not just theory anymore. For years, critics mocked it, influencers dismissed it, and analysts shrugged it off. Yet a major global power validated years of slow, patient development. When that leak hit the internet, the crypto world erupted. Conversations exploded across social media. People started waking up dormant wallets. And in the middle of the chaos, Bitcoin surged past $100,000 as nations finally realized something fundamental. Cryptocurrency is no longer just technology. It is power. It is influence. It is a weapon in global finance. But as always, when something big happens, the story doesn't get simpler. It gets more complicated. Because right after Russia's move, Western governments woke up. The United States and Europe started studying every detail. And with a pro-crypto administration in America, they pushed for laws that could make the U.S. the center of digital finance. They promoted dollar-backed stablecoins to maintain control of global money flow. Reports spread that the U.S. was secretly building its own Bitcoin reserves. The world suddenly looked like a financial battlefield, and PI was caught right in the middle. And here's where things get terrifying and exciting at the same time. PI being recognized by a superpower gives it legitimacy and real utility. It proves PI has a place in the global ecosystem. But if PI is seen as a tool helping Russia, the United States could respond harshly. They could sanction PI. They could block it. They could pressure exchanges not to list it. They could turn it into something Western users are not allowed to touch. That puts PI in a dangerous but historic position, supported by one global power, but possibly targeted by another. This is the tightrope every new technology walks before becoming global. And PI has reached the point where the world wants to decide what it is. But here's the truth. PI's future depends on something far more important than politics. It depends on decentralization. Not slogans, not promises, not theory. Real decentralization. If PI wants global trust, it has to prove no government controls it, no nation owns it, and no single entity can silence it. Many people believe PI's next big challenge is whether the core team is willing to give up real control and allow true community-driven governance. Because decentralization isn't a feature, it's protection. It means PI would belong to the world, not a government. For PI to become what it was meant to be, governance must expand. Decisions must be made with the community, not above it. Proposals, voting, transparency. The pioneers who kept this network alive deserve a say. Because a blockchain only becomes unstoppable when it belongs to millions, not a handful. There's a bigger picture here, one that goes far beyond Russia, America, or any single document. PI needs to prove it can function anywhere, no matter who tries to block it. It needs to show it can't be picked apart or shut down by anyone. When PI reaches that level, it will stop being a target and start being a symbol of financial freedom. This leak has forced the world to notice PI in ways no marketing campaign or hype video ever could. And if the project continues building real tools, real apps, real financial use cases, PI could become the go-to platform for global microtransactions and borderless payments. But nothing is guaranteed. There will be backlash, regulations, investigations. This moment will decide whether PI becomes a legendary success or fades away as a bold idea that lost its direction. And I want to speak honestly for a moment. I've had doubts about PI, just like many pioneers. I've wondered if all the years of mining would ever lead to something meaningful. There are days the project looks slow, confused, or stuck. But even with the frustration, there's always been one thing that kept millions of people holding on: hope. A belief that PI could change how the world thinks about money and community. This leak doesn't make PI worth thousands overnight. Anyone promising that is lying. What it does prove is that PI's idea has real value. A major nation recognized it. That matters more than any price prediction. But we must stay realistic. PI is now part of geopolitics. That brings opportunity and danger. Being useful to Russia could trigger suspicion from the West.